Whether you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
Man, you know it's been a while if I put on the wrong damn intro video to start the show. Hey, let me know if you guys can hear me and see me all right. I know it's been a little bit. Molina Mike here, and man, I was set up, and I was starting to set up, I should say, to do a show, and I was kind of on the fence. Like, man, do I go live? Do I not go live? But I love One Pocket, man, and I wanted to do a preview show, heading into Buffalo. Didn't get to do it, and I've been like trying to get a couple different guests on ahead of it. Hasn't worked out so far, but I've thoroughly enjoyed sweating it. Um, so I wanted to do a show just kind of talking about some matches that are coming up, some matches that have already happened. My boy Franco says, I can hear you. Hopefully that's what you're saying. What's up, my man? Hopefully you're doing all right. Back in the shop, back on working on some cues. And yeah, I'm home for now. I'm about to head back out of town in a couple of days. So I'm pumped for that. Um, yeah, let me just go ahead and I'm going to bring up I'm going to start off with bringing up the Calcutta first because I thought that was the most interesting part, as always, when it comes to buffs. Record setting ish, I mean, all things considered, I took a little bit of flack talking about how tough a field that it was. But let me see if I can bring it up. I can see your comments in the chat, so let me know if you guys have any questions or comments or concerns for me. Let me see if I can bring this up over here. So first off, if you've never heard, Buffalo's biggest one pocket tournament of the year. I kind of equate it to like the one pocket world championship that we never get to have. And I get why we never get to have it, but for like the diehards of one pocket lovers, this is like as good as it gets. All things considered, I mean, you only get two tables to go and watch. Usually, over the last few years, it's been more stellar fields, I should say, compared to this year. But nevertheless, I mean, it ended up being pretty good. Albie says, I've been every day, front row seat, TV table. It's been insane. Plenty, and I mean plenty of action hanging around the pool room. Yeah, that's one thing, man. This time of year for me is always like super tough because I got girls and it's always towards the end of the school year. But every year I'm always like, man, I want to go to Buffs. I want to go to Buffs. And I've been saying that for like well over 5 years now, and I never get to go. Maybe next year we'll see. Last year in particular, given how stacked the field was, I really wanted to go. But yeah, it's a cool like gambler's paradise. From what I hear, like Albie says, a lot of action in the room. Cheap sets are like 10,000 plus, and so usually it's pretty high stakes from like morning, noon, and night. Luckily for us, we've been able to, like, from being at the house, been able to sweat some pretty solid matches on Race Stream, Pool Action TV. He's back again. I think it was like $39 is what I ended up paying for it. So it wasn't too bad. I wish it was a little bit more modern, and I'll say that every year because it seems to be the same setup. But I've been enjoying it being at the house. Like I said, he's had some great matches. He's been having two tables that have been going live, even though that second table, like, it's a little bit tough to go and watch. In my opinion. But yeah, man, all things considered, like I said, it's been fun. I was up late last night sweating Sky and Bustamante, and I've watched more pool legitimately in the last 2 days than I have in probably the last like 6 months. So but let's jump into the Calcutta. As you guys can see there on the screen, I think it was like 320 is what they ended up pulling in. And it's interesting, given who's left in the hot seat. I mean, if you're just joining us, it's Federer versus Evan in the hot seat. I'm going to preview that match because I got a pretty interesting point of view. I feel like, well, I mean, I'm biased in saying that, but Federer ended up buying Evan in the one pocket Calcutta, and then now they're playing each other in the hot seat match, which the odds of that are slim to none. But it's funny because I don't know how much Federer has of himself. He ended up going for half. He ended up going for the pick of the litter, I think, at 46,000 in the Calcutta. But with him having most of, or all of, I should say, Evan, I don't know if Evan bought half. I'm assuming he did, or at least his camp and Justin. It's just going to make for like an interesting, what'll end up happening with that hot seat match because I would argue that if Federer loses in that match, he's got better of it because he went for more money, so you can make more money off of Evan. And I don't know if he bought half himself, which I'm assuming he would, given the field, but you never know. And so how the next 2 days are going to play out and shake out are going to end up being incredibly interesting. A couple of guys that I noted off the bat. Obviously, the Mark Maggie story was one that has been just incredible, man. To me, to have a guy come from Europe and do what he's done, taking out some pretty big names, has been shocking to say the least. But when I saw the Calcutta and I saw the when I saw the Calcutta and I saw the guys listed on here, I always look for like you can look at two different things when it comes to Calcutta. One of them is a pissing contest, and that like you want to buy the name players, you want to buy the fillers, you want to buy the Shanes, you want to buy the Fetters or the Alexes if you're playing, at Buffaloes. But for me, I'm about making money, and value on the money is key. And so, buying pick of the litter kind of sets the standard for where everyone else is going to kind of fall into place. And the money will tell you, who's valued where, given their either their current form, how much gamblers like them out there at Buffaloes. You can argue pros and cons, whether they get caught up in that gambling culture versus grinding on the tournament side of things. And don't get me wrong, like the tournament's cool and all, it's $2,000 buy and it's stout one pocket, but like everyone's there to make Calcutta money. That's what it's all about. And so for Federer to go for 46 really set the standard. I think the next highest up by looking at everything here, I want to say was like Roberto, a former champion as he should be, went for, let's see, 37,000. Tony goes for, I think, next on deck, if I can find him here. He ended up going for 33,000. So that kind of told you where guys pegged each other at. And there was some good value on there. For me, a guy who was in the Final Four a few years ago in Wolford at 3,000 was an absolute steal. I know he didn't do anything in this tournament worth the fuck, but all things considered, I mean, at $3,000, given the upside, and especially considering now, like doing this Monday morning quarterback thing when it comes to Maggie going at 45 and Shane Wolford going for 3,000. To me, that puts further value on Shane Wolford in that spot going for three. Like I said, he ended up fizzling out and he's no longer in the tournament. But just going into it, those are my like initial thoughts. Justin Hall goes for 17,000. He was one of the guys who lost to Maggie early on, but again, when I was watching it, and when I was following the Calcutta, I was thinking, man, Justin Hall seems to be a bit cheap, but guys like Tony, guys like Justin, they're like it's gambling, like it's legitimately gambling. These conditions, these pockets, how tough it is, a longer race, all these things. I really love. I really love like more premium guys to go deeper. But when it comes to effort and how much guys can go and actually grind, I gotta love the chips of the world. I gotta love the double J's of the world because they're not gonna give you an inch, and I really love that, especially if you're talking about spending like high dollars on guys. Justin Hall, how committed is he gonna be? And again, this is like going into the tournament is what I was thinking. Now he ended up facing Tony early on. I think it was like in the second round of this one. And to be honest with you, it was probably one of the best Justin Hall matches I've seen in quite some time. Like he was hitting the ball incredibly crispy. I mean, super consistent. Real conservative. You guys heard that? We got a bit of a storm over here right now, so hopefully the power and the internet stays on. But yeah, man, it was one of the best Justin Hall matches that I've watched, especially against a top level guy like Tony. I'm in love with the fact that they don't go and seed this tournament, that it is very random. Now, if you're a buyer or if you're a seller, it's tough to get your money in, especially big money in on some of these guys, and then they end up drawing each other early on in this one. But either way, uh, Justin Hall beats Tony. Then Tony and I'm sorry, then Maggie ends up beating Justin Hall after defeating John Mora. And John was an interesting one because he went out pretty early in this tournament, and like some of the other guys, I like a lot of the fans, I should say, I was shocked to hear that Mora went out as early as he did. He's coming off of that win out there in New Iberia, I think it was, playing Federer in the finals of the one pocket. And I would have liked, like, if I saw John's draw, I'm like, okay, this is a perfect matchup facing a European guy who you haven't clocked at all, right? You got no idea what his one pocket speed is. And I know